Our next speaker is Keimmie Booth. Keimmie has a passion. She has a story about how she found her passion, and she's going to talk a little bit about that today. Kiemmie is a senior at Western High School and has been heavily involved in their robotics team over the past couple of years. She's actually forgoing a major robotics competition today to be here to talk with you about that passion and about her effort to support youth in the city to get involved in technology, to experience the possibilities and to explore their future in a world filled with technology. So without further ado, I introduce Keimmie Booth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My topic today is finding your passion, and I just wanted to start by letting you know a background about me and how I came to find my passion. My entire life, I have always been an average student that showed up to school and left at 3 o'clock like you're supposed to. I never was the greatest student, but I was never terribly bad either. Since the age of 6, I have played all kinds of sports, and I always thought I would be an athlete of some kind because my entire family played sports, and that was all I did every single day was go from school to practice and then games up and down the East Coast on the weekends. Truthfully, I never even had a passion for sports, and I would always hear people say how they love the game and it was their passion, but it was never like that for me. It was just something that I was really good at, so I did it. I've come to realize that doing things without a passion is just a waste of time. My mother would always tell me that if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, then it's probably not what I'm meant to do. She would say that whatever my passion is should be on my mind from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed every day. So I was always looking for something to get into and passionate about, but most of the times you find things when you aren't looking for it. During my sophomore year is when I started moving away from sports and started to get involved in robotics. I went to a robotics team meeting with a friend who was only going because she was getting extra credit for a physics project, and once she got what she needed, she stopped going. But I stayed long after she stopped because I always wanted to know how and why technology works. When I first joined the team, my job was to help build the FRC robot for the logo motion game in the Chesapeake Regional at the Baltimore Convention Center. My role was to put things where everyone told me to put them because I started in the middle of the season and they already finished the design and concept phase. But you always have to start somewhere, right? When I went to that regional competition, I understood why we spent 6 long weeks building the robot. There were hundreds of teenage innovators from all over the country who were there to compete and share their passion for robotics. And this is when I had my turning point into wanting to be more than an average student. Once the competition was over, I decided that I no longer wanted to be just a builder. I wanted to actually come up with a design and program for a robot that did exactly what I wanted it to do. This is when I said to myself that engineering is it for me and is what I want to do every day for the rest of my life. Ultimately, robotics has changed the way I feel about school. I now view school as my new training facility. Just like an athlete who spends hours in the gym, I spend hours in classes and labs, and everything that I learned in my math and science classes are starting to have a purpose, and I understand why I'm learning. For me, it was always hard to learn when I did not know why I needed to know something, but now a lot of what I do in school is connected. So terms like trajectory and parabola have a meaning now because we had to calculate them as a team so our robot could play basketball in the FRC game, Rebound Rumble. I have to also pay attention to things like the voltage and the amps and frequencies on our robot when I program and build, because machines can only do exactly what you tell it to do and not really what you mean for it to do. So here's when we first started with the design concept of the robot, and we were inside the lab. and then that was us actually testing to see if the balls actually shot with the right trajectory that we wanted to. And this is the robot. Her name is Para, which is short for parabola, and it's actually playing the game and scoring the basketballs and the goal. At my first ever solo VEX competition, my robot constantly broke down and I could not fix it because I didn't know how to problem solve. I kept troubleshooting for things that had nothing to do with the problem, but eventually I figured out what to do, and my confidence in solving things independently has grown as I have built more robots and faced more challenges. Now I build with the understanding that problems are going to come and that every problem helps make the next solution stronger. Being a part of robotics is a different experience from being in a standard classroom, because in science classes, we watch the teacher perform experiments and he always does it correctly. But the important part of learning is making mistakes. When you do things yourself and mess up, you can learn how to fix it, and then you learn what can work and why something works and why it doesn't work. We as teenagers know what we want, but we don't fully know how to get there or where to find the help. But being on the robotics team has provided me with help from my team mentors, peers, and local robotic supporters. To pursue my interest in engineering, I enrolled in the Johns Hopkins Engineering Innovation Program this summer, and I thought I was going to have a great advantage on becoming an engineer, and engineering was exactly what I wanted to do. But after sitting through my first lecture on materials engineering, I said, this class is not for me and it's not what I wanted to do. But that was okay, because when you're young and you're trying to figure everything out, sometimes you have to start backwards and find out what you don't like to get to a point that you are doing something that you love. I had to learn to stay level-headed and not overestimate my 16-year-old abilities, and understand that it is okay to get to a point and say, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but then it's up to me to keep searching and finding the paths to what holds my interest. Being in that program made me realize that I want to work with things that are already put together. So therefore, I started taking computer science courses in Python and C++ software. Right now, I'm taking a Cisco Information Technology Essential course at my school, where I am learning the history of computers and how they are put together. And at the end of this school year, I plan to take the exams to get an A+ certification. For the time being, I absolutely am loving what I am learning about computer hardware and software, and it is now my new passion. This year, I was nominated the captain of the robotics team, and I do the play-by-play announcing at city competitions for middle school students, and I help promote robotics in Baltimore City. Robotics has provided me with many opportunities to explore new endeavors that I would have never experienced at this point in my life. In April, I went to California for a week for the 2012 VEX World Championship, where I have met people from countries like Saudi Arabia, Spain, Australia, and many other countries. I'm sharing my robotics experience with you to promote dream tracing. Whether your dream is to be a doctor, an athlete, fashion designer, or a musician, just find something that you are passionate about and find out what you can do right now to get you where you want to go. And don't let your age or the city that you are from stop you. So before you leave here today, ask yourself, what is it that you are passionate about?